birthday on Move 100. Kate. A couple of things I didn't have on my bingo card with Snoop in Halifax last night was. Hi everyone, I am Tara, aka Spirit Mother. I'd like to welcome you all back to my channel. On my YouTube channel is Spirit to Spirit Teachings of Going Within Self, and on my TikTok channel 1974 Enlightened Souls, and if you are on my Facebook. Today I'm talking about my spiritual awakening. A lot of people are going through their spiritual okay. Let's do that again, because I thought my was on, but I forgot to. My name is Tara, aka Spirit Mother, and I would like to back to my channel, Spirit to Spirit Teachings of Going Within Self on my YouTube channel, and 1974 Enlightened Soul on my TikTok channel, and on also live on my Facebook. Today I'm live to talk about my spiritual awakening. Okay, a lot of people are going through through their spiritual awakening right now, and it's not easy for a lot of us. Some of us have we've been through hell and back. Some of us are on sharing our journey stories. Some, like myself, I'm coming and actually sharing my story, and it may have others, especially the ones that are like part of this story, it may have them a little irate with me right now. Okay. Since like yesterday, the Schumann, if anybody follows the Schumann resonance, it was very intense with light codes yesterday. And I did a video the other day about bringing up my truth, okay, and one part of it. And it had been something that I had been holding back from my ex-husband for quite some time. And yesterday it came to a head. It was a blow up, because I had been trying to talk to him for quite some time, and I had been trying to get him to have a look at the exhaust pipe muffler on my car for about a week and a half, 2 weeks now. I do share this because a lot of people can actually resonate with things like this and really understand and know, like, you're not alone in this, and it's okay to be frustrated. And right now I have this is my bikini top. I have a selenite around my heart because there's a lot going on, and I know I told people, like, don't put selenite around your heart, because selenite, where it collects a lot of negative energy, if you're wearing it when you're out and about by your heart, you can actually start getting heart palpitations. But if you're at home and you're kind of by yourself, it's not so bad, because we get negative energy within our heart. So it's kind of helping me to relax. Yesterday, he kept telling me that, like, he had always had something else to do. Something comes up. Okay. It's like, well, okay, something comes up. Can you not ask other people to just kind of like, just wait? I got to do this for Tara or what have you. Okay. Like, I understand different things and what have you. I'm not blind to it. And I got perturbed with him, because I told him that I'm tired of the lie. I'm tired of the lies that you're always telling me you're going to do something for me or what have you, and it never happens. So I had a kind of a little bit of a blow up then. But see, the thing is, people don't know what goes on within the home.
And when somebody tells him something, it's usually only one-sided, okay? And that's fine. So I ended up leaving. I went and I got my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law actually fixed my muffler for me, which I'm very grateful and appreciative of him for doing that. And I come home, and my ex-husband, he said about like, hey, we'll go down and we'll get the ramps or what have you so you could look. And I told him that they were already done. And when I tried having a conversation with him with regards to it, he started like always. And that's what bothers me, okay? Is the part when you tell someone, I know things happen, but when it's constantly, and the person that's asking is always doing something to help them or in many other ways, okay? It's supposed to be an exchange of even energy, okay? And I know he has his issues that he's dealing with, but the thing is, I've been here for him the whole time. And, well, when he went out the door, he was like saying out loud about me starting with him and that I'm always nagging and everything like that. And I wasn't nagging. His sister actually told me that her husband does the same thing. Whenever she tries to talk to him about something, it's always you're nagging. But it's not nagging. It's like a lack of communication, and when it hasn't been there, it creates a rift, and it causes a lot of anxiety because it's been going on for like millenniums, eons, and what have you for everyone. Because we never die, we just we keep coming back. And I'm actually going to show you something in a minute because I've been reading certain things. I was never a big reader. Okay. And when that happened, he was going across the yard to go to the neighbor's place where this all kind of come to a head and blew up. Some people may not like me telling this, but I don't have shame for what happened yesterday. I packed up some stuff, my cat and my stuff, and I was leaving. I was going. And I got going up the road and I messaged him, or I called him. And he started saying about him not being able to talk to me about nothing or anything like that, which it's like a spin. And I watched a video with somebody doing a card reading, and they said like, or actually it wasn't a card reading, it was Jordan Peterson. He said like, when something changes, he said, walk away because it's not that person anymore. Okay. And this is coming from Jordan Peterson. And he hung up on me. My ex-husband hung up on me. So I got going up the road and I could feel the clawing. He says he gets clawing. Well, do people think that other people don't get that clawing? Only it's not a clawing in my guts. It's a clawing in my heart. Because I run on the heart. Because that's where you're going to find yourself. So I come back and I parked across the road and I walked over. And I blew up. Well, I told him what I had put on my video. I come forward. And I had already known what was going to happen. But just really, you have to see it for yourself. Like right now, I'm getting a feeling through my body, and that's okay. because I'm used to it now. I blew up and I told him that I had sex with somebody and that when I didn't want to anymore, I told the person that I didn't want to, and they more forced themselves. It was more of doing a sexual act. And I cried the whole time it was happening, and I told them. And I got what I knew I was what I was already feeling like I was going to get, because it got blamed, like he blamed it on me. And then when he blamed it, I just totally, I lost it, because it hit so bad. And I'm trying to fathom how people can be so cold. Like, I know Yeshua, Jesus, however you refer to him, says about they know not what they do or say. But I left. There had been people outside, but they went in, and he was in with the neighbor. And I just blew up, and I said I didn't care if the neighborhood heard or what have you. Because I was blowing up because my ex-husband was bringing this person into the home, and I didn't want them here. Not because of what will come out, but because of what happened with this person when I said no. And I had been talking to other people. Other people had been telling me about their concerns. Even people that he talks to had told him about their concerns with the person. But it always gets turned back on me. So it's like, okay, whatever. Do you know, they said Yeshua's only a family tried, like, they said he was crazy too, but crazy enlightened. And I'll tell you right now, the spiritual awakening, it's like, like it's being asleep, like being already cursed. More of a curse than a spiritual awakening. I don't look at a spiritual awakening so much as a curse. It's not easy, by far, especially when spirit is making you deal with those hard things that we want to suppress. Well, the other day, last week I had ordered a book, and not yesterday, the day before, I started reading it. And this is the book I started reading. Okay. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene, the first woman apostle, lost apocalyptical. No. I can't pronounce that word, Gospels collection. Okay. If you can read backwards. Okay. So in 2 days, I read that much. Okay. Of the book. And I was not a big reader. I got very interested in it because it was actually explaining what I'm experiencing. What a lot of people are experiencing within their Kundalini awakening, because that's what it is. To some, it comes naturally. Just can spontaneously happen, especially if you've had a near-death experience or something that was life-altering. I'm not sorry for what happened yesterday because I tried talking to him. Right now, I'm experiencing a lot of anxiety and pain within the chest because as I'm reading, Mary Magdalene was going through many similar things. Like she was having the blow-ups. Like he chose her because she was like, and she went through a great deal of exorcism. Okay. So that's what we're here. A lot of us here are doing. Okay. We're exercising. Okay. Not only are we exercising ourselves, but we're exercising as a whole. So as people look within themselves, within their heart, okay, where we're all connected as one, when one person heals, then other people heal. I was explaining to someone the other day that I had like talked to before I had put my video up and before I had this blowout. And I explained that, you know, if you look at light poles, have you ever noticed on a light pole what it's shaped like? It's shaped like a cross because a cross represents the energy. If you look at the Da Vinci, the way he's standing, like he's spread eagle, but it's a cross. It's allowing it to come up through, because when we suppress our stuff, that's what actually hurts our body, because we don't want to look at our own, what they call demons, and they're our own demons. And that's what people don't understand. They're our demons. They're what we're feeling on the inside. So what we're feeling on the inside, we're putting it out there. So when I left, I had my cat and I went to my dad's place. And it really irritated me because I went in and I took my pajamas with me because I was sleeping in my car. Didn't want to stay in anyone's house, sleeping in my car. And I took my pajamas in to get ready for bed, and I told my dad I was here to get ready for bed. I was like, well, what, like, oh, like, you're in one of those moods again. It's like, really? Seriously, Dad? You know, I am your daughter, and when you treat your children like that, there's something fucking wrong. Seriously. I don't care if you like me for saying this. If you're watching, I don't care anymore. Because when a parent treats their child like that, if their child comes and appears to be in distress, and you say you're in one of those moods again, it's like, hey, you know, you get in one of those moods because you call me all the time in one of those moods. But I find it a lot. And he said about me staying. I said, no. I said, I'm sleeping in my car. I said, like, I got my cat in my car, and no. We'll just stay in here, or like stay the night and, you know, leave your cat in the car. It's like, no, because to leave my cat in the car to me would be like leaving my kid in the car, my child. So he was like, okay, well, just, you know, bring him in and just keep him off the furniture. I was like, it's hard to do that. So he said, well, then just put something on. I was like, okay. So I was in there and he was watching wrestling. And he's always saying about wrestling, okay? So I like about how it's like fake and rigged and everything like that. And I'm just like, you know, then like, why do you watch it? Because it's something to watch, he said. So I was sitting there and And it was like somebody was trying to poke me afterwards. Because I told my dad about what happened, because my dad had come to me and told me that this person had gone to my sister's work, sat there in front of her and was eating pizza and cursing and swearing at her job because he knows my sister. So my dad was defending her, but not me. So it's like, I'll tell you right now, if you cannot have more than one kid and love them all equally, don't have any. Or only have one. Because, like, in all honesty, do you think your other kids don't feel that and experience it and see it? And I was sitting there, and then he started talking about something else. Okay, something else that was really bothering me because he was talking about another family member. It's like, okay, it's like they go about it in their way. And it just I could feel the aggression coming up. Like he was getting more assertive. And I wasn't biting, I was staying calm, but I was feeling it right in here. Because there was a rage. Okay? And it talks about it in this book that I just got delivered today. So when I was sitting there and I was telling him, like, it's up to them how they react to something or how they go through something. He was getting more and more irritated with me. And this isn't to shame my dad. Because it goes for anybody. Because I know it's not just my dad who does it. And I know that it goes right back to the very beginning. Because it actually originated there. Because the father, was jealous of the kids. I'm not saying that my dad's jealous of us or anything like that or what have you. But, I also say when it comes to stuff, if the shoe fits, wear it. So I was saying, I was like, I just looked, I just told him, I'm going to sleep in my car. But no, you're not going to sleep in your car. You just stay here and sleep here for the night. It's like, no, I'm not dealing with this. I'm just going to go sleep in my car. Well, then go sleep in your car then. And I told him he's acting exactly like my ex-husband. Well, I love to see how you act. It's like, wait a minute, the way I act is what I'm doing to react to how somebody else is reacting. It's like, do people really think that somebody should sit there? I know people say walk away. And I did end up walking away. I didn't get pissed off, which I felt the rage that, he was getting loud, but he would say that he wasn't, that it was me. But I wasn't, I was going. It's like, Dad, I love you, but seriously? And then my ex-husband says, oh, well, they're this old and what have you. It's like, if they're this old, shouldn't they know better? Seriously. Aren't parents supposed to be the example? I'm a parent and I'm supposed to be the example. And if people don't like me coming forward and sharing my story, it's only because the truth hurts them. It's like, I'll tell you right now, for me to realize the truth, it friggin' hurt me. For me to come to the realization that I needed to take my power back and stop people from stepping on my neck and holding me down because they're following a friggin' system that programmed them into believing one way, that this was the only way, which no. The way is here. You notice the heart, and it's got love. It's like people need to stop making excuses for other people. I know, like Jordan Peterson said, like, it's not that person anymore. Well, I'm going to tell you, when people like myself come forward and tell you what it is that you are experiencing, if you don't listen to that person, I know everybody goes through their journey and goes through their awakening at different times. But if somebody is constantly telling you what you're experiencing and you don't listen and you keep allowing that to happen, that's on you. In the book, and I've said it before, they tell us we're sinners. We're not sinful. We're not sinners. We're just programmed into believing that we're sinners. And, religious people, you believe how you believe. But it's always like conform. Let's conform them to our religion. It's like the pain that many people experience through growing up trauma. And even trauma can even happen into adolescent or teenagers and young adults and even older adults. It was in the newspaper too. And I'll bring it up. My mom, she was working at a university as a cleaner. And two of her coworkers, they sexually assaulted her in the back room. And when she took it to tribunal, there wasn't a whole lot done. And my mom ended up leaving her job. And she became really depressed. So it's like, the abusers and the aggressors, I have to ask, why are they getting away with this? Like, like, if we're telling our parents or our partners or what have you, why are people not standing up and speaking up and doing something about it? I have to ask, like, why are you so afraid? Maybe you've done it before and don't want the truth to come out. Because I've been bringing my stuff out when I was younger. A lot of families, they go through sexual things. And a doctor will say, oh, well, that's childhood that's normal behavior. It's childhood behavior. If it's not happening if it hasn't happened in this lifetime, it means that it's happened in a previous lifetime of an aspect of them or their ancestors, and they're wearing it. So it becomes part of them. So when we realize that, we're being kept divided for a reason. Because if we come together and collaborate and talk with one another, then we start, sharing our stories with one another. We start understanding one another. And, those demons that they class as demons, well, they came from somewhere. They came from pain within us through generational. And that's where we get generational curses as some are coming forward. And the more we speak up, not only are we speaking up for ourselves, but we're actually speaking up and standing up for our ancestors that couldn't. I was watching or reading something, I forget which part it was, and it was saying some of it, it even goes back 7 generations. And I totally understand with the 7 generations, because my 7th great granddaddy was scalped in the Cornwallis in I believe it was right around 1752 or thereabouts. I think it was the second one. He was scalped in front of his wife, holding their 2-year-old child while pregnant. So it goes back really deep. And he got scalped because he was trying to help other people, the ones that they were really trying to scalp. So anyone that helped them, well, they got scalped too, because they were part of the problem, according to, Cornwallis. But on both sides of my family, there's actually 3 sides. They were all brought here, and a lot of us can relate. They were brought here and they were told that they were going to get this and they were going to get that, the crown, your queen was going to give them this and give them that. So it was always broken promises. But things were being taken from people. And when we stood up, it's like right now, when we're standing up, we end up bearing a cross. And what I mean by bearing a cross, the cross is what our ancestors went through in many different ways. And some may not agree with what I'm saying. Maybe I am either my 7th great Grammy or my 7th great granddaddy. It's like the house. The house. Okay? We are the house. We are the church. We are the temple. But other affiliations will tell you, no, you can't believe that. That's blasphemy. Why is it blasphemy? Because it doesn't follow their agenda. And I have, if you're religious, don't take offense to what I'm saying. Because it's like having an open mind, because, your salvation isn't the part of going to church on Sunday. It's about being in church every day. Being in church with yourself, with your heart. Going into your heart and seeing yourself. Because when people have visions, and it's even in there, and I've said it, I see things through my heart. I feel things through my heart. Most of the time, My analytical mind is shut down because there's so much of this over analyzing everything. Because we just want to pick everything apart right to the nitty gritty. Which, everything is always changing. It's like get people and it's like we're trying to find our way home. But you're every time you look in the mirror, you're looking at home. Every time you feel your heartbeat, you're feeling home. We're just lost from it. That's what we're lost from ourselves, from that part of the God aspect, the Christ. We're looking for Christ out there. But the Christ that you're looking for has always been here. But people, it's mostly family that will look at me like I'm out to lunch, but they're coming around some. Not with the language, though. It's like, well, we don't understand you. It's like, no, join the club because not a lot of people do, but I'm not going to shut it down, because if I shut it down, then I'm shutting his spirit down. I'm shutting my ancestors down. I'm shutting your truth down. Some may say, you're just a ball baby, you cry baby. You're too sensitive. It's like, maybe you're not sensitive enough. Because the true evil was actually invented by man. Because they came to have a lack of empathy for life. Not only for others, himself, but, for everything around. It's the oneness. And, this is what the true teachings was. But because it created independent people of a system. We're told we're blasphemous. We're told we're crazy. We're nuts. We need a psychiatric unit. Well, I'm going to tell everybody, I'm going to tell you again. Within a 2-year period, I was in the psychiatric unit 4 times. The 3rd time I was in there, the 3rd time I was in there, when I got out and I went to the therapist, the crisis therapist. She asked me, do you know what they have you diagnosed as? And I said, oh, probably, schizophrenia or psychosis. No. They have me as unexplained because they cannot explain this. But yet I had a doctor when I first started going through it. I wasn't speaking, but I was like explaining, and I was saying that I was seeing auras, like auras on the wall and what have you. But I had conversion disorder. And ironically, it speaks of this in that book, Conversion. Convert. I'm conversion. I'm coming back to self, coming back to spirit, coming back to soul, coming back to the oneness. It's like you say you're looking for Yeshua, Jesus Christ or what have you. It's always been here. Because if we're one, then are we not connected? resurrection is being able to go within your own darkness to find your light, to find your spark for life, of what you want to create for yourself out of love and not anger. Because we've all been creating things out of anger, me included. Sometimes I get in a rage where, we all get in it, and even young people and what have you, and we're left like thinking our children are crazy and what have you. They're dealing with something. They have a rage in them. They have a pain that's not being addressed. But, take them to a doctor, get the doctor to give them a pill, and send him to a psychologist for a bit just to, but, instead of like getting right to the root of the problem, because it may be not something from this lifetime, but something from a previous lifetime, or however you may refer to it. Because it's this that dies. This goes. But when you have that awakening and you're able to go and you go into your own darkness and you see it, you feel it, you experience it, you speak to it, because it's trying to be heard, because it's feeling a pain. It's feeling hurt. It's feeling anger. It's feeling resentment. And that's why we're in different forms of wars. This most recent one, World War III, it's a spiritual war. Because we're fighting each other. But if you read these books, like I've been reading this one and I'm there in it, and it says about certain groups, like they were getting they're getting along before the church of what's now was created. So what I'm teaching, they say, oh, it's New Age. It's not New Age, because it's been around since the beginning. Revelations is the truth. Waking up to the truth. The Sicurata. This one. Okay? Bruce Lipton. Billy Carson. Terrence Howard. Dolores Cannon. Nikola Tesla even talked about it. Nikola Tesla was the inventor that started your electronics. And a lot of the inventions, if you look into it, the true inventors of them were mostly females, and it was stolen from them. I even had Mac's husband tell me that when he was working in the military, he was doing things and what have you, and there was always somebody else taking credit for what he did. So as far as him being angry with regards to stuff like that and feeling he got ripped off, well, yeah, he did. I don't just come on here and say bad things about him, because I know there's a lot of good qualities to him. There's a lot of good things within him, and I just wish that he would see it himself, instead of telling me that I'm nagging him when I'm not nagging. I know who he is as his higher self. And like everyone, he lost his way because of what happened. It's like I said, it's not just this lifetime. The angrier we are, and the more resentment and pain that we have towards others and stuff like that, this goes way back. But we're always too busy pointing fingers at something else and wanting to blame somebody else for how we're feeling because we're not doing the work ourselves. We're looking and saying, somebody else got to do the work for me. Here, you got to take this on for me because I can. It keeps coming back and happening to you because you're not looking at it. You're not doing the work yourself. It doesn't matter how many times somebody does a healing on you. It's a Band-Aid, like anything. It's that exercising yourself, because that's the Christ. Being like, not being hard on yourself in the way of hating yourself or not liking yourself because you think that something's not moving fast enough or happening. I'll tell you, like, if you laugh or you cry or you get pissed off at me or you get angry with me while you're on here with me, that's the part of you that's experiencing it. That's a part of your inner demons, as they put it, because they make it like it's so demonic, but it's actually other forms of ourself coming back and trying to deal with stuff. Hence the spirit to spirit. It's one spirit to another spirit. And that's why, like they say, that's why it's said, they don't know what they do or say. And that's why, like myself and Jordan Peterson says, like, if something's different, it's not that person. These physical wars that they say are out there right now. They're wars that we're having with ourselves. And we're reflecting it on each other. I know some people, like, you don't agree with what I'm saying, but hey, have you tried everything else? And how'd that work out for you? Because I know a pill, I used to take them. All they ever did was make me sicker and suppress me. Yes, I do come off as a bitch sometimes. I come off as an asshole sometimes. And yes, I do call my ex-husband an asshole because he behaves like one. It's like, Uranus. It's like Billy Carson, he'll even say, and it is, we got to go back to our past, what we perceive as being our past, and really having a look at it. Because our past tells us something about the now, because we keep repeating it. Have you ever looked like, the way that the wars go? Isn't there always some sort of pandemic that's always inflicted on the people? Because, when fear is introduced, it creates an anxiety. And then that anxiety, it creates your body to be at disease with itself. So it becomes very enabling or crippling. It becomes a rage, a fury. It's because that part of us, our ancestors, family, it's trying to be seen and heard and loved, to get what it wasn't getting when it experienced its original trauma. So you're actually having PTSD from all these other traumas that's not even a part of your now. I went through an exorcism myself. back in 99 because I used a Ouija board and didn't understand. I asked for something because I was looking for an ex-boyfriend. Didn't know what was happening. So I didn't know how to deal with it. So my body was like my body was actually going through so much that it was almost like it was killing itself because it didn't know how to deal with what it was experiencing. At that time, I was seeing 7 stars in my eyes. I was seeing stars in other people's eyes. It was really fucked up, and I'll be honest. The time I started hearing voices, I was seeing different things within the clouds, stuff that I would ask for. I would see it. We're experiencing a whole lot of different things right now that we cannot explain. It's because we're creating it through fear, through anger, through aggression. Not only through our past traumas of, like I said, what we perceive to be our ancestors and what have you, but the traumas that we experience in this form of life. Because, they say, like, in astral projection and stuff like that, you can go in the astral realm and you can, play out the scenarios that you want. But, when you go and you play out those scenarios, you're actually putting them out there in the world. So it's a part of asking yourself, why do you want to have the feeling of what it would be like to, like why you would want to know what it was like to kill someone or rape someone or beat someone to a pulp. Or play war. Why? Because every time we do that, we go out and we create that. So it's like we're creating our own enemies. And that's the spirit to spirit, because those people see us in spirit form. Those spirits see each other. And when it's done, I had experiences where, like, I was in a vision where 2 men threw it was like they threw gasoline on me and lit me on fire. And my ex-husband had a vision, or not had a vision. He actually was at a port and he witnessed 2 people throw a kamikaze cocktail on someone. And he said that they ran. The person that caught on fire, he said they were stupid and ran. Well, hey, why didn't you do something about it? There's people that are having visions of, like, back in the ancestry where they know that they were burnt at the stake because of stuff like this. Because we were witches. Or however people perceive it. Some people don't even like that word witch. And I showed oh yes, and I got this book. Where is it? I got Tesla's book. I have Billy Carson's book. I have astrology, I have dream books, I have witchcraft, the history of it. I have my tarot cards. The secret language of dreams. I have healing books, chakra books, crystal books. I have spell books, but I don't, like, myself personally, when it comes to putting a spell on someone in that causes, like, I know people do it, and I understand that. It's reading. I even have one there about the Druids, because I know that I was a Druid in a different lifetime. And if people want to rip me apart for that, well, I'm right here. Wouldn't be the first time. We keep coming back in different forms. And that's the remembering. The remembrance. The spiritual awakening is remembering the truth. Your own truth. What they class as being a myth. Myth means my truth. Righteous is right choices. But some say, well, what's right and what's wrong? What's right is when we're not causing harm to others and ourselves. And I know I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't put out there that, I put out in many of my other videos that I've tried to take my life a few times. But was it different aspects of myself, and I was just kind of reliving it. I even have astrology, numerology stuff, crystals. I have stuff that has to do with Mary and Jesus. I have just what we class as the extraterrestrials, or aliens or starseeds or what have you, light workers and what have you. That's us. We've all been it. Some are just like, this is their first time here on Earth in a body. It's like the connection, heaven and earth. We are the heaven and earth. We are the connection. We are the antenna. And Nikola Tesla said it. I know I come on here sometimes and I look like a raging lunatic. I'm a service to spirit. I've had a hard time accepting it. I wanted to deny myself that, no, I couldn't do this. But it's who we are. Like, I've never gone for past life regression things before. I actually called about it, but it's so freaking expensive that your common person that's actually experiencing a lot of it can't afford it. Really, what's up with that? It's no better than the medical system if we're doing that. We're here to be helping each other, but yet we're just here, I understand that it's the energy exchange, but we put everything about monetary value and materialistic things. And we left behind and forgot about what's meant to matter most, and that's family. That's unity. It's togetherness. The connection. That's what we lost. We lost the connection. It's like if you watch Once Upon a Time, okay, there's a series in there where they have the pair of scissors. It's a pair of scissors that cuts you from your divine, from your divinity, from your higher being, from your other half. The other half is the mother, because the umbilical cord connects within the mother. The mother is the womb. The mother, we come from the darkness within the mother, and I understand that. Because when I first started going through this, I was laying on my living room floor, and I started going in. I started going back, and I was going in, and I went deep. I went right to the dark. And I could hear my ancestors, my family say, "Tara, you gotta come back. You gotta come back." And it's not, I'll be honest, it can be very scary depending on like what it is and how, like what it is that you have to get through or work through. When you make the love connection, the biggest connection is making it within you, your heart, because your heart connects you to spirit, to God, to creator, to source, to universe, to mother, father, child. You know, we're the mother, father, and we're the child. The energy. I would love one day just to like sit and talk with these people that are true teachers. That started putting pieces of puzzle together and have tried to put it out for us to see, but in many ways it gets suppressed because it doesn't get put into your mainstream where you can actually see it. Because my dad, he'll say, "Oh, well, that's not what I was taught." Okay. It's not what you were taught. So I guess you're not willing to learn something different, right? Not here scolding, although I know it feels like that. But Spirit had to give me a wake-up call. Bling, bling, bling. Hello, are you going to answer? I am calling. I had to die before I would answer the call. And more than once. Because I'd answer the call, and then it was like I felt like I felt less than what I was. Because I was too busy listening to what others were saying, opposed to listening here, seeing here. And that's why more and more people are becoming what is said to be empathic. You're starting to experience the feelings of others. I know it's not easy looking at the things that we don't want to look at. It's like the untold stories. We don't want our stories to be told? What's the part of telling that story to yourself? Telling that story to spirit. And that's when they say resistance is actually it's a resistance to yourself, to your own truths, to your spirit, to your divinity. Because you can't get there without, well, going into the darkness. There's times when I'm still going through it. Because it's like when we pass, we come back. When we come back, it's like we're that child all over again. So we're not remembering what we had already known, in a sense. And sometimes we come back remembering remembering it all, and then some. See, I know, like, I have shorts on today. Sexy legs, or but whatever. They're not shaved, but oh well. I have my singing bowl. Oh. It's scare geometry. It'll start, you make sound. It makes different shapes depending on the sound that's being made. I don't watch a lot of TV. Sometimes I'll go on Gaia and watch it. And the show I like to binge watch is Once Upon a Time, because it has to do with like magic and energy, because the energy is the magic. We move energy. When you pick something up, you move it. Are you not using energy to move it? The ancient ancestors, they were using sound, frequency, and vibration. And they were using energy. They were connected. They were tapped in. We were connected. All of us. At one point, in one stage, even over time, we keep coming back. And that's why you're seeing so much different things, because we keep coming back to show ourselves, but we forget. It's like we say it's our ancestors. So if it's our ancestors who create it, and we are our aspects of our ancestors, then didn't we have a hand in creating it? But we didn't create it through like constantly being as we want to be a physical body, because the physical body causes pain. It's being able to experience the spiritual body, the light body. The ascension isn't like going up there. The ascension is coming to yourself, ascending. Not. And I understand it. It's not the outward. It's, well, I even say it. Many people will say it. It's the going inward, because the pain is inward. We're just seeing what causes the pain on the exterior, or what we perceive to be causing the pain. But it's actually what's bottled in here and in here. but it's more so in here. We feel it. We feel fear and clawing here, some of us. It's like a clawing. Well, what do you think that clawing is? That's aspects of yourself. That's your inner fears. Of things that we don't want coming out. But it's the part of being able to work through it so that it comes out in a healthier way opposed to the destructive way. Yes, I've had it come out in destructive ways. I was very promiscuous because I know that, like, before I was raped at 9, I just, in my innate, I know that I had been being molested. And I know that after I was raped when I was 9, I know that the same person was like doing things to me in my parents' home with them in the other room. And I wasn't saying anything. So then I became promiscuous. And I took on drinking. And I wouldn't just have a couple drinks. I would drink until sometimes I had freaking alcohol poisoning. Even a couple times, and I remember a time where I was taken to the emergency room. The doctor actually treated me like shit. But I was punching on the chest of my youngest son's father because I couldn't freaking breathe. Wasn't using marijuana or any heavy drugs at that time. And then when I was 22, I tried marijuana and I started smoking it some, but I mostly went to pills. And that was my suicide go-to. You know, if you read about Nikola Tesla, he went through the same thing. People thought he was mad. He was like going through a lot of mental health issues himself. It's because when that happens and people don't understand what you're experiencing or you're going through, or you don't even know what you're experiencing or going through, holy heck, man. It is. It feels like hell within yourself because it is. We are hell, we are heaven. And, I just got that, like, I didn't hear words, but I felt that feeling. I'm not going to send anything back at you. Because that's what keeps things going. That's what keeps the pain going. If I send something back, it's prayers, love, and healing. And accept it or don't accept it. That's entirely up to every individual person. Because Bashar says it, Daryl Atkin, he channels Bashar. There's many of us that channel in different forms. I know of another one that she does some channeling, Nicola Light. I started watching her. And there are many others. A friend of mine, she speaks the forms of language herself. But people are afraid that do it. They're afraid to come out a lot of the time in public and do it. It's like, Spirit gave you that gift to share with the people. Because you're there. You're a healer in that aspect. And it is. It's like, the person has to be willing and to receive and accept it. As much as sometimes we just want to force the healing on them, we can't, because only they can truly heal themselves. And the first step is like being able to admit to ourselves. Some people, they like where they're at. And I'll say it so they, in ways so they say, because, their words and actions speak louder. A lot of time they say they're happy where they are, and it's sometimes because, like, doing that work, it can be even scarier than just not doing it at all. See, people will say, like, how can God make people suffer? It's not God making people suffer. We're making each other suffer, and we're making ourselves suffer because we don't want to look at our own. We want to point at everybody else. I have. Yes, I have pointed at other people, but I catch myself doing it, because when I catch myself doing it, you can realize that it's a reflection of yourself, of something that you yourself needs to work on. Because maybe what you're seeing there is something that's actually from you. I know right now that, there's people that, especially around me, that don't like me. It's like, you don't even know me. You're not even taking the time to really get to know me. You're just going by what somebody else says. And because I do this and I speak in different forms of tongue or language, however you may perceive it, you think that, oh, well, she just thinks she's better than everybody else. No, people don't realize. It's not easy feeling like you don't fit in. It's not easy feeling other people thinking and feeling like you think you're better than everybody else when it's not that at all. It's that part of a person's not good enough unless somebody wants something. And then when somebody wants something from you, well, you're good enough then. But then afterwards, well, you just think you're better than everybody else. That's what I think of that. It hurts most when it's your own family. It hurts when it's your friends or people that perceive or tell you that, oh, I'm your friend. I'm here to tell you, friends and family don't treat each other like that. But we're told, oh, well, that's the way family is. Fuck, it is. It's only a program that tells you that family's that way. I slept in my car last night. And holy shit, man, is it ever uncomfortable sleeping in your car. And it was almost a year ago to the day that I did it last year, where something happened and I ended up sleeping in my car, and then I ended up in the psychiatric unit, and the next day they let me out. And then I was told that when my sister called the hospital, they told her that no, she's not here. And then my ex-husband told me that, like, when he came, when I called him to come pick me up, that I was released. He said that when he got there, the front desk, when you first come in the hospital, told him that no, she's not being released today. It's like, this is a little strange. First, my sister was told that I wasn't there. And then he was supposedly have told that I wasn't getting out. See, the thing, I can see when things are like that because we're constantly moving. We're constantly changing. So we're going through things, and that's why everything seems so strange. Because we feel like we're experiencing it, and it's like, whoa, man. It's like going through the unknown ways, and then you come to, it's almost like you go through the unknown, but you start knowing that what you're experiencing is like as trippy as it is, and you're not on ecstasy or anything like that. You're experiencing it. We can make it easy on ourselves, or we can make it hard on ourselves. I'm here for a different reason. So that's why it's been so hard on me. And there's many others that it's hard because it's hard on the body. Like I said, the Schumann resonance was going freaking haywire today. And it started yesterday, and it's been going haywire for quite some time. I'll say it again. They say COVID. Well, COVID, what was the real name for it? Coronavirus. Well, the corona is actually the outer layer of the sun that's sending off solar flares. It's hitting the earth, which is affecting the human body. And I don't care what fucking scientist tells you that doesn't happen. You're fucking darned straight it does. And I'm not going to apologize for my cussing. Because, my ex-husband, he was the one that told me sometimes you got to speak their language, but, he doesn't like it when I speak his. The same as, I probably don't like it when somebody speaks my language. So, I'll tell you right now, I'd rather have the feeling of it being a curse by working with spirit than by having a curse and keeping myself to sleep and continuing on with the charade, the facade that causes me to hurt more. Sometimes it comes out like vomit. Sometimes I scream and, oh my gosh. when I went through my exorcism in 99, holy shit, man. Like it was always like, Desikere was trying to grab hold, and it did it both times, in 99 and in this one. Grabbed hold of my throat and started, like I was literally crushing my own fucking windpipe. Well, a part of me, one that wanted me to, kept saying, we're taking her with us. If we're going, she's going. And it took my mom and a guy that I was seeing, which I shouldn't have been, because he lied and told me that him and his girlfriend broke up when they actually didn't. But him and my mom, they were pulling it off me. I went to the hospital when it was going on. Like I was drawing kid pictures. And I was taking and doing like I was using a Ouija board on a placemat, doing figure eights. My sister was afraid of me. She wouldn't even come see me. I told my oldest son to run. And I was trying to get to the cemetery where my family was buried, and my mom come chasing after me, and I pushed her. I was flicking fucking ashes when I was flicking ashes on the couch, and I could feel when because my arm would just go like that. A pastor. She told me I needed, you need a psychiatric unit. She told my family that. But when my mom got her to take the Ouija board and burn it, I was in bed and I could see a swaying. And then it was like two eyes in front of me. And I jumped out of bed and I ran and I told my mom she's burning it. So my mom brought me back to bed. And it was swaying, and then all of a sudden it was right in my face. And I hollered, "It's done." Next day, my mom calls the pastor. Sure enough, she had been doing it at that time. Before my exorcism, my mom and dad took me to the hospital because they wanted to get me admitted because they were going on a trip. And they had nowhere for me to go. So they took me in the hospital. My mom and I were in the back room waiting, like they had me on a gurney. And a nurse, she come in. And I was looking at my mom. All of a sudden, my head flipped around and looked at her and said, "How's your fucking dead baby?" And it wasn't my voice. Her eyes bugged out of her head. She turned around. She walked away, never to be seen again. Then they took me into the room. Psychiatrist and a student. Before I got going, before we start really talking, I said, "Okay, first off, I'm going to do something, and then I want you to give me your medical opinion." Just like, okay. So I started reciting the Lord's Prayer, "Our Father that art in heaven." And when I started reciting it, my body started vibrating and shaking. My voice started shaking to the point where I could no longer speak anymore. And when I stopped speaking, everything went right back to normal. And I looked at her, I said, "Good night. What's your medical opinion?" She looks, she goes, "I know nothing about the spiritual." I told her, I said, "I didn't ask for your spiritual opinion. I asked for your medical opinion." She said, "I can't give you one." So my dad and my sister and my oldest, my parents adopted him. That's a whole other story. They went, and there was a prayer triangle because my mom and grandmother and them, they were trying to find a church that would do an exorcism. They were calling 100 Huntley Street and everything. And then we found one. And there was a prayer chain going around for me. Because people can fucking die from it. Especially if it's not approached properly. So my mom and my friend was taking me. The whole way there, I was calm until I stepped foot in the church. And then that's when it was like just total like demonic, because all my stuff, my pain came all at once. Each time it was scary because the second time, this time, when it started 4 years ago, I had to really look back on that time to realize that, this is what's happening. And a dragonfly. They were saying on one of the videos that, you're going to see a dragonfly. Like dragonflies might be significant. So, those are things like with regards to signs and synchronicities, because it is telling us something. Am I embarrassed by bringing this forward? Or do I feel shame about bringing this forward? No. Because I love myself for being able to bring it forward. Because it's not something easy to bring forward. Because of the parts where, yes, people do think that, you're really out to lunch and you need a psychiatric unit. But no, what you need is someone who understands and knows what you're experiencing with regard to spirit. That's why we go to places and we feel like we get an irritation around somebody. Well, that's the spirits. That's the two spirits that are connected with each person. That's the experience that you're experiencing. But it becomes, people put it as a label because they don't, it becomes the normal, but it's not. It's put a label on it and give them a pill. Oh, go home, come back in 2 weeks. We'll talk about the same thing over again. And we'll write you, we'll like have a look at your prescriptions. We'll up them. But you're not supposed to be on them forever. But a lot of people end up on them forever. And my question is why? That's profitable, right? Your pain, your anxiety is profitable to a system. The true sins systems integrated into society. But see, some don't understand that, but there's a lot of truth coming forward. But the biggest truth is seeing you as a whole. Being able to heal physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And some don't associate sexually as being physically, but it's that part of physical. But it's mainly mental health is caused from a lack of spiritual health. And it's the not knowing and understanding what it is that you are experiencing. It's like I have somebody that I know that it's not really it's them, but it's not them. That will literally come at me, and I know I'm here for something more than just me. I'm here to be of service to the people, not in a way where I'm supposed to be your fucking slave or your bitch or maid or doormat or what have you. We're here to bring about growth, evolution, evolving past the physical aspect of everything. Because we're just experiencing what appears to be a physical body. We can touch it, we can feel it, we can see it. But it's the Christ. It's the consciousness, it's the energy within us, the being, the oneness. And where you're going to find it, like I said, it's going to be in here. So to understand me a little more, just go ahead though. It's finding our divine, our divinity. Because, well, we refer to God as being a male and father. So it made everybody afraid of their father in many cases. And then, well, the father became that father that we were supposed to be afraid of. But we were never supposed to fear our parents because it was supposed to be built on love. Everyone knowing that we're equal to one another, whether you're the mother, father, or child, because everyone has something to offer. We can learn from each other in many different ways if we step away from the systems that are keeping you blocked from being able to see it. My son said it. He believes it. And, I know it too. We're all the stars. You look up in the sky and you're there. You're there, but like you're experiencing yourself here. Are we asleep? Are we awake? Some of us are, we're in between. I'm feeling the heart chakra opening. It's like an expansion. With the expansion, it expands and goes throughout the entire body. Right now it's expanding, and when it's expanding, it's not only right here, but I can feel it. It's going up. It's a part of speaking, being able to speak our own truths. Facing our own, say, ego. Ego can become a help, or it can be a hindrance in many ways. Because it keeps you away from your true consciousness. It keeps you in a mind, opposed to heart, brain, center. The balance, balancing the masculine and feminine energy within us. Because like I said, God is not male nor female. God is an energy of both masculine and feminine coming together, being able to work together, opposed to one wanting to rule over the other. And I'm not telling you you're stupid when I do that. It's the part of, clear it. Don't look, don't try to see, because the spiritual eye is here. I mean, we have what's said to be the all-seeing eye. You see physical, but when it appears, it's all connected, heart and brain. And when it's all connected, it always comes back to the center. The center of the universe, the sun. You are the sun. You are the center. A star is a sun. So if a star is a sun and you're a star, would that not make you be a son too? Or daughter, because it's neither nor gender. The sun is the portal. The heart is the portal to the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, I'm okay. Well, 1:44 on the timer as we speak. If anybody knows what that is, and it's not the number of people, it's a frequency. It's where we are. Kule patutueta kurusire sam situtueta te tukuleta tarieta tai. Sukuria shale seria mrukutata tabriai sukure sekre don and nukututuye lebriera shale bisikutututoi. So I want to thank anyone and everyone that came in and joined. I hope this was of some help. I know it has been for some of you because I can feel it. And I'm going to Eso me dice que coco in the cotain. Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tunes without the words and never stops at all. It's that aspect of keep going. With that being said, I'm sending you all much love, light, many blessings, most importantly, very good health to anyone and everyone wanting, willing to receive and accept. I want you all to be big, bold, and brave. Most importantly, be yourself, be your authentic self, be true to yourself, be true to others. Be who you are, not who somebody says you are or you have to be. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and know that you have more strength and more power within you than we can even comprehend at times. Send you all love. Yeah, I was going to say my finger's not working.